Hey Gemini, this is Mimi with Divination by Mimi. Welcome to your March 1st through the 15th, 2018 tarot reading with a little bit of astrology. Now you're a mutable air sign and you're ruled by Mercury. Mercury's got some interesting activities this month. We'll go into those. There's another constellation, Virgo, that's ruled by Mercury. And that's where our first astrological event occurs for the month. So starting on the 1st to the 2nd, depending upon where you are in the world, there is a full moon in Virgo. And this moon is a very positive moon. It highlights the connection between mind, body, and spirit. It's the reminder, as Isabel Hickey says, that you've signed on for Earth School, meaning you have decided to learn spiritually, physically, and mentally what it's like to evolve spiritually in a physical body. Okay, so it's asking you to highlight and pay attention to how you think about your body, spiritually and mentally. Is it something that you care about? Is it something that you even acknowledge? Are you all in your head? Sometimes that's the case with planet or with constellations or signs ruled by Mercury. They're thinkers. In fact, Gemini, your motto is I think. So it's begging that question. And it's a positive full moon. It's not going to have any, all aspects in your chart considered, of course, but it's not destined to have any bad aspects in and of itself. It's a positive one. It's uplifting. So it's a reminder that we're all kind of on a physical journey, even though we're spiritual beings, but we're in this physical body for a reason. To experience this evolution, emotional, spiritual, intellectual, physical evolution in the body. What does it mean in comparison to the mind and spirit? All right, I'll shut up about that. Also, on March the 2nd, your ruling planet Venus is making a lovely trine or harmonious conversation with Jupiter and Scorpio. So Mercury, your ruling planet, is the messenger of the gods. So all about thinking. Again, your motto is I think. But not just about thinking, about communicating. And on its high octave, Mercury is a clear, concise, cool, logical form of communication. Humor, thinking, but clear communication in the high octave. When it's making a harmonious conversation with Jupiter, an expansive, illuminating energy, in Scorpio, that's the 8th house, which is about kind of deep repressed feelings, this is a great time for all of us to assimilate and process old hurts, wounds, emotions, and victories as well. Process them and think about them and communicate them or integrate them into our lives. So that you could kind of like doing shadow work until you acknowledge the bad things that have happened, the tough things that have happened, and the good things that have happened. You can't really assimilate them into your whole being. Therefore, you never really process them. So this is a good time and aspect to process. That's a second. Also on that day, the moon in Virgo, again, makes a full opposition. That's 180-degree opposition with Pisces. Pisces and Virgo are opposite ends of one of two opposite ends of the mutable spectrum. You have the other one. But Virgo is mutable earth and Pisces is mutable water or ether. So when the moon is in Virgo and makes an opposition to Mercury and Pisces, and this is your ruling planet again, more opportunity to communicate. So, and again, this kind of goes along with the concept of the ability to assimilate and clearly communicate that connection between mind, spirit, and body. Virgo is very much about the body, and this full moon there is very much about the body. So anything that you come up with in the way of intellectually understanding about this relation between mind and body will be impacted and kind of expanded by this opposition. It can be good, it can be bad. It doesn't matter. Either way, it's impacted. Okay, it just means powerfully impacted. All right, I hope that made sense. Again, if you have questions or comments on that, leave them in the comment section below. On the 4th, Mercury is conjunct with Venus in Pisces. So Venus, the goddess of love, the archetypal female, not sex, not gender, just an archetypal energy, a feminine energy, is conjunct with Mercury, the androgyne energy, which is about thinking and communicating. So Venus in Pisces, kind of the fluid, spiritual, disintegrative quality of Neptune. When she's there, she's very free. She's actually exalted. Venus is exalted in Pisces. So she's very free-flowing, very expressive, very creative. When she's conjunct with Mercury, your sign, it could mean that she's very creative in prose or in communication. So if she's writing a blog, she might write a fantastically moving and articulate blog. If she's speaking, if she's writing music. So anything to do with Mercury is going to be empowered and highlighted with this conjunction with Venus and Pisces. And Venus at this place is very creative and emotional. Okay, so conjunction just means it's 10 degrees or less in that particular constellation, and that's almost on top of each other. Mercury, again, your ruling planet, however, is also conjunct that same day with Chiron, the wounded healer. So when I was talking about Venus being creative, that's true, and Mercury helping her in that process, that is true too. But also there's a conjunction with you, your ruling planet Mercury, with Chiron, the wounded healer, also in Pisces. So when I said emotional, this might be an emotional time too. Now, the good thing about Mercury is it's clear, concise communication. So sometimes that means just the facts. This might allow you, again, it could be positive, it could be negative. It depends upon you and all your aspects. But Mercury highlighting and empowering these two signs allows the possibility, and probability actually, that Mercury will allow you to clearly think about, articulate, and express old pains, old wounds, old hurts in a productive way, so that there's not a need to escape or to swim in it forever, like a Neptunian thing, or to escape it is a Neptunian thing too, or to drown in it, to have a pity party. It's really much more about a productive way of expressing it. So again, Venus might be able to tap into old wounds to create this incredible poem or prose or song that Mercury is helping her write and share. I hope that analogy makes sense. Moving on to the 5th, otherwise yours will take 7 years too. The 5th and the 6th, Mercury enters Aries. So Mercury in Pisces, your ruling planet, not so happy in Pisces, a little bit of a downer, kind of like a woe is me, kind of, it's just not your vibe. In Aries, not perfect, but not too bad at all. Energetic, and also in Aries is Uranus. So Uranus is another predominantly air, logical, communicative, progressive thinking, but kind of unpredictable. And Mercury can be that way too, mercurial, right? So, kind of tricksterish and things like that. Whereas you'll be like, oh, I'm saying this, but I really mean this. Uranus will be, I'm saying this, but I'm gonna do this. Totally, totally different. I mean, they're alike, they kind of fit together, but yeah, the concepts are slightly different. And Uranus is kind of like the crazy, like, remember the Muppets band, the crazy drummer? Animal would be Uranus, totally. So with both of those there, it's good for communication, but they're all fed by fire. So you'll probably be quick-witted, progressive in your thinking, all other aspects considered. So it's actually very good. It could be crazy and destructive for those that aren't used to that energy, but I think you'll enjoy it. And Aquarius will probably too. All right, enough about that. Moving on to the 7th, Moon in Sagittarius is trining your Mercury in Aries. So again, this is more expansive feelings. Moon being feelings and intuition. In Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter, is an expansive energy. That's 9th house, higher education, right? Making a harmonious conversation with your planet Mercury in Aries. It just means for illuminating things about feelings, making those feelings turn into actions or realizations that have progress, not just sitting in there feeling them, but actually progress. So it's very positive. On the 8th of March, Jupiter goes retrograde. So it doesn't mean it's restrictive energy like Saturn. It just means it's not quite the expansive, anything can happen vibe, or everything can happen vibe that it normally is. On the 10th, Saturn in Capricorn is going to square Mercury rather in Aries. That's the 10th and the 11th. That's kind of a negative aspect. When Saturn brings its restrictive energy, especially in its home planet, the 10th house, it does it to Mercury in Aries. It's kind of slow that intellectual spitfire, fast wit down a little bit. It'll be a little bit frustrating for you, for a Mercury ruled sign. And lastly, Mercury in Aries will be sextiling the Moon in Aquarius. So Mercury and Aquarius Mercury likes Aquarius. It's a comfortable placement for Mercury to be in Aquarius. Logical communication, clear, concise thinking. And then with Mercury and Aries and the moon about emotions, not so much the first interest of Mercury or Aquarius, bringing the energy of Mercury to it with the moon being in Aquarius kind of allows once again to have processing of emotions and feelings be a little bit more tangible, logical, productive, rather than again just sort of swimming in how it makes you feel and never really moving beyond that. Okay, I think that's all I've got for you, Gemini, in the way of astrology. Let's get into your reading using the Universal Rider-Waite-Smith. And I'm going to do a 4-card pull based upon some situation in your life. So something you're feeling, experiencing, wishing you had, dreaming about, or hoping you don't have, something that's on your mind. For Gemini, ruler of the 3rd house, what is not the Gemini versus what is the Gemini? Experiencing the outside world, 3rd house. For March 1st to the 15th, 2018, what is going on with Gemini? Motto is I think. Ruler of the 3rd house, communication, the outside world. Thinking, communicating. I just said that, didn't I? Holy Hecate. What does Mercury ruled Gemini, the twins, mutable air, need to know for March 1st through the 15th, 2018? For Gemini, March 1st through the 15th, 2018. Thank you. 8 of Wands in reverse. Defeat or 5 of Swords in reverse. That's a positive aspect. So what you're thinking about is some information not coming in. 8 of Wands is fire, and that's usually quick messages, fast-moving messages, but they're not happening. They're slowed or they're delayed or they're not happening. Positive aspect of that is some kind of a defeat energy. Negative aspect of that is a Page of Cups. Possibly something to do with an offer of love and it's not forthcoming. Overall advice, look to family. Yours is pretty clear. Okay, so you're not getting messages. You're sort of sitting here waiting to get communications. This could be online communications like text messages or Facebook messages from someone that you care about. There's been some offer of love that may not have been what you expected it to be, or it may not be coming to fruition as expected. Page of Cups, this is an offer of love or a message of love, but it's not coming, and it may not have been meant to come. And you're feeling somewhat of a defeat. There's a defeat around this, but you're actually in a good space because the overall advice is for you to look at family. Now, this could be literal family, or this could be the structures in your life that have roots. Now, I know that's not something that's typical for Mercury, well, for Gemini specifically, because Gemini doesn't like to be rooted down or tied down at all. They like love, but they don't like to be restricted in any way. But you're being asked here, the advisement here is that instead of looking to this, focusing on something that may not have been meant to be at all, and waiting, wasting your time waiting for communications and messages that are not going to be coming, and feeling defeated about that, let go of that feeling of defeat, walk away from that, because the guide here and the message here is to look for those structures in your life. So if this is your colleagues at work, if this is your friends, if this is your roommate, if this is literally your family, if this is your home life, this is the structure. These are the roots that are going to hold you not restrictively, but hold you in comfort and security and stability while you pass through this process of understanding that this wasn't going to happen. The disappointment around that, right? This was something that's not forthcoming, and the vibe here I'm getting is that it's not meant to come, and it's not in your best good that it does come. So whatever message of love this was, whether it was romantic or familial, or it could have even been a creative endeavor, you seem to have had a lot of high hopes on it, but it seems like it may not have been the best thing for you. and to refocus on the structures in your life, however they manifest themselves. Okay, this is a general reading, so apply where it applies. Focusing on those things that you have so that you can feel rooted, feel stable, not restricted, but feel rooted and feel stable, to be ready to get over whatever disappointment this was, so that you can be ready for what Spirit really wants you to have. This was kind of a snafu. There might have been a mistaken feeling that there was something worthwhile here, and it looks like there's not. Otherwise, the messages would be coming, but they're not. And the defeat card in reverse is good. It means that if you focus on the things that you have, if you refocus on yourself, the things that you have, the structures that you can count on, the stability in your life, however that manifests itself, then you'll move beyond whatever this expectation was, and be ready for the real thing when it comes. It feels romantic. All right, Gemini, I hope that helps. If you have questions, leave them in the comment section below the video. If you'd like a personal reading, please email me at memememes@hotmail.com. If I didn't say it at the beginning, if you haven't subscribed, it would be great if you did. That way we can keep a line of communication open, and you can sort of have a nosy with your friends and family to see what's going on with them too. That's it. I'll see you for the lunations, and then I'll see you for the readings in the second half of the month. You take care, Gemini.